It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. Welcome to the Lazarus and Dangerfield Show. Welcome to the show, another one. As always, I'm joined by Mr. Clint Dangerfield. What's coming up this week, Mr. Dangerfield?
Coming up on this week's movies, we are looking at 3 more car chases, but classic movie car chases. So we will be taking a look at the Steve McQueen classic Bullitt. Gene Hackman in French Connection. And from 1974, the original version of Gone in 60 Seconds.
Switch to Open Channel 3. All units stand by. 1 Baker 11 in pursuit. A 73 Ford Mustang. License to the 6th.
But first, what have we been watching this week, Mr. Lazarus?
You almost had me. You never had your car. I've been watching Fast and Furious 9.
And I'm very jealous. I really want to see that film. And I myself have been watching the Netflix original thriller Run, which came out in April. I believe it's only a couple of weeks ago.
Cool. So,
shall we begin with Fast and Furious 9? I believe we should.
Fast and Furious 9.
I need to know everything about this movie.
The world needs to know, or does it? In honor of car chases, it just seemed fitting to do Fast and Furious 9. The franchise of all franchises. Other than Bond, is there any other films you can think of that have done as many as Fast and Furious? Alien,
Mission Impossible
maybe? Mission Impossible
on the cusp. They're doing 7 at the moment.
Okay. And Alien, how many of them have been? Terminator, there's been a few.
Terminator's been a lot. Alien, there's been a space. Yeah, Alien, it kind of goes off in different directions, really, doesn't it? There was a prequel to Alien. Prometheus? Yeah. So not quite as many as 9. Star Trek. Even the original Star Trek movies. Actually, there were 7.
Star Wars. There's been 9 of them. And that's not even including Rogue One or Solo.
Yeah.
So
there's not been many. There's been a few, but none of them have Vin Diesel in.
No, none of them do. So the plot of Fast and Furious 9 is Dom Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, is living a quiet, retired life. He's off the grid, with living with Letty and his son, but they know danger is always lurking around the corner. This time, the threat forces Dom to confront the sins of his past and save those he loves the most. His crew comes together to stop a world-shattering plot by the most skilled assassin and high-performance driver they've ever encountered. Dom's forsaken brother.
John Cena,
yes. So, how do I review this movie without giving away massive plot parts?
Ever thought about the wild missions we've been on? We've taken out planes, trains, tanks. I'm not going to even think about the submarine.
So, let's start with the fact that there's 9 of them. Obviously, the first one, most people regard as the best. It's definitely my favorite. I love this franchise. I really do. And we talked about Gone last week and how I honestly feel like it was almost like a prequel for these. It was just like, it sort of laid the framework anyway for these sort of fast, loud, Hollywood style, racing films. It's sort of been a real big kind of lack of it, particularly, when we mentioned Ronin, Bourne, they were a bit more authentic, weren't they? And this was, this Hollywood. You got Too Fast and Furious, where Vin Diesel steps away because he didn't do sequels at that time.
Yeah.
And then the franchise almost just took a bit of a nosedive in Tokyo Drift. I went to see it at the cinema, loved this film. I absolutely still love Tokyo Drift. And this is why, if you've read the Lazarus and Dangerfield backstory, you'll understand why I'm in the East and he's in the West. I attribute that all down to Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. But anyway, they all come back together for 4, and it sort of rebuilds the franchise. And if it wasn't for 4, we wouldn't be up to 9. There is no doubt of that.
Totally.
It sort of it reinvigorated both Vin Diesel and Paul Walker's career. Paul Walker did essentially just become Fast and Furious. That's what everyone knows him for, and it just went from crash bang wallop from then on. It was just literally this franchise on acid, wasn't it? It was
massively
everything. The first one I love. Don't get me wrong, there's some pretty unbelievable things, but it's more technicalities, like cars doing wheel spins and stationary, and then moving forward still doing this wheel spin. These were the plot holes, where now you've got cars jumping out of trains, being chased by submarines.
Are you saying that couldn't happen?
Yeah, it's jumping out of planes. It's just the sublime to the ridiculous, but it's great fun. And a lot of people are saying this, and I'm kind of leaning towards this. It probably should have stopped at 7 when we lost Paul Walker, which was sad and a massive tragic loss. I loved the guy. Probably not the best actor, but he just really lent a lot to Vin Diesel, and really, they had this really good chemistry together.
Yeah.
Almost like brothers. So anyway, coming to 9 without giving away too much. Yes, John Cena's now in the picture. For anyone who's a wrestling fan, John Cena definitely divides opinion. There's a lot of people who hate him and a lot of people that love him. So, and when it comes to his acting, I would say definitely the same. One of the interesting things that I've honestly thought about casting in this thing was they don't look alike at all.
Jacob is Dom's brother.
Been a long time, Dom. Little brother.
There's not even like a
minus.
Yeah, it's funny because there's a reference to this in the movie. The fact that he has a different, there's a lot of blood within Toretto lineage, and hence probably why there's a difference. But yeah, it's this movie is essentially sort of, in some ways it's like a prequel. We mentioned it in the plot that Dom has to revisit his past, and there's a lot of that in there. I think first, Fast and Furious, that's all I'm going to say on that. I don't want to really give any spoilers. So we all know Dom's favorite car is a Charger, so I think to throw a Mustang in the mix is long overdue. So there's a Mustang Charger scene in it, which is cool, and that's a nod to one of the films we're going to watch this week. And Vin Diesel is now a producer on this with Neil H. Moritz, who did the first Fast and Furious, and Justin Lin, who's been doing the latter ones. So it's sort of got all of them together. Does it make for a good mix? Well, let's go back to the film, right? We've got Han is back. If you've seen the trailers, it's back. We have some unlikely cameos. They like to throw in a few of these. And there's, we've got Helen Mirren back in this, which is odd considering the fact that
I found it odd the first time she was in it.
Well, they were meant to have killed his son, or her son, should I say? Killed her son in it. So I found it odd that she's, just forgotten about this. But anyway, yeah. So, considering they sort of are responsible for Owen Shaw's death, but they're all pally. I don't want to give away any more of the other cameos. Look, I didn't love this movie, if I'm honest. I didn't love it, and I didn't love 8. And some people are going to be like diehard purists saying they're all great, and for an action thing, it's great, but I just really feel like they've lost their essence. And I was kind of hoping, I saw the trailer and I knew it was going to be batshit crazy, basically. But I just, in my mind's mind, I just wanted it to be like one, and I really want them to do that. I think they really need to listen to the fans. The fans just want an old school version of this film, a back to basics, proper street racing, proper tearing it around town. We don't need helicopters being shot out of the sky and jumping out of planes and all of this stuff. And there's some crazy stuff in this film that you just need to watch the trailer. You'll see for yourself.
I've already seen
there
it.
Is just it's just nuts. And also just one of the cameos, which you probably would have seen in the trailer, we've got Sean and Twink back in this movie from Fast and Furious 3, and it's great to see them in this.
Which is cool.
They look old and they look fat, but it's great to see them in it. But they're not utilized in the way I think they should have been. And I just found that this film was, you've got hand back, and everything was just a little bit too convenient and a little bit like they're thrown into the mix. And it's great to see them all back, but if they're meant to be a family, treat them like a family, have their backstories, have it be tangible. And I just, for me, my biggest problem was the writing on this film. The writing was just really sloppy.
Was it just too much going on? Like I say, like
that
too
and a
much
combination
in
of the writing was sloppy. I just did. You've got the last one, you had like the robotic cars. You've seen that they've got magnets now, and it's just, go back to basics and do what they're good at. 4 was great, 5 was fun, and then it started just to get a bit silly. And I just want them just like, 1 was beautiful, and think Star Wars Force Awakens, repeat it. Everyone loved Force Awakens. It was just New Hope again, and everyone loved it, and it didn't disappoint anyone, and I think that's what they need to do. So that's my 10 cents on Fast and Not So Furious. But definitely still worth watching.
I'm still going to go. You got to go see Fast 9.
Anyway,
excellent.
From one fast-moving thing to another, tell me about Run, Mr. Dangerfield.
So Run, I really enjoyed this movie. This is a good little thriller. It's not going to set the world alight. It's definitely short and sweet. So it was only 90 minutes. So if you don't want a full-blown thriller that lasts like 2.5 hours, it takes a lot of concentration. This is just a very bog standard 90-minute thriller. It's got all the punches. It's got all the twists. It's very intense in parts, which I really enjoyed. And basically, it's about a mother and daughter. They're the main cast of it. It's them for the majority of the movie. So the mother played by Sarah Paulson, and the daughter played by Keira Allen. And what it is a teenage daughter played by Keira Allen is paralyzed from the waist down, and she's also got a number of other conditions, so she's quite poorly. And Keira Allen herself is actually paralyzed from the waist down, which is nice to have someone actually disabled in the role.
Yeah,
makes it.
I think that's. When I was watching that's becoming a more common thing now, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and you can tell.
Yeah,
that's what I noticed about it. And that's what I immediately looked up within 10 minutes of the movie. I was like, is she like actually disabled? Because you can just kind of tell by their movements. So Keira Allen plays this partially paralyzed girl that's quite poorly and been homeschooled her whole life, and she's looking forward to going to university. However, her mum is quite controlling, and Keira discovers one day that one of the pills that she's taken all manner of medication. She discovers one of the pill pots actually has her mum's details on, and she realizes, she starts becoming suspicious and investigating, realizes that perhaps she's not quite as poorly as her mum has made her out to be.
So it's a bit like I want to say like Tangled, the Disney film.
It's
being lied to by your fake mum.
I guess if you put it that way.
Or the serpent.
But so yeah, and it just kind of unravels from there. And you know what? It's like I said, it's short and sweet. It's got all the usual thriller punches in there. You're questioning a lot of stuff. There's plenty of occasions where you feel very tense and anxious for her as she's kind of delving deeper and finding out a few more things. And even right from the off, her mum is, there's something not right there. Just right from the start of the film, it's just not something right about her mum, and it just kind of gets worse and worse. But the sad thing is, it's all done with love.
Yeah.
But obviously I won't give any more away than that. So a definite recommend. As I said,
Saturday night viewing.
That's it. Saturday night, even a weekday viewing. If you don't want anything that takes a lot of thinking, it is just one of those films. You can sit and watch.
Sure.
And very kind of almost predictable. It's that type of thriller. It follows those plot lines, but it's got a great ending as well. So definitely check it out.
It's gonna be okay.
No.
And that's it. Thank you as always for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and give the little bell icon a click for the next video. Any final thoughts, Mr. Lazarus?
It's not how you stand by your car. It's how you race your car. You need to learn that.
I will do my best to.
Ja Rule.